What up, everybody, and welcome to Creeps of the Crypt. I'm your host, John, along with my co-host.
Oh, there, Alan.
That's
What's
right.
up?
Other Alan. Nothing much. So we're here to talk about episode 8. Yeah, episode 8 of Creeps of the Crypt. But before we get into that, how you've been? How have you been?
Good. Just had a chance to rewatch the episode we're covering today, and yeah, look forward to talking about it. I think it's up there. One of my favorites. It's probably one of the ones that you early recommended to me when I first started getting into the rewatching for the first time Tales from the Crypt.
It's one of the I guess looking at it now as an adult as compared to younger, younger thought it was, and now it's more like a fun episode. Like when I was younger, I thought it was cool, but now looking at it, must have been fun working on it, and watching it. I'm not bored to death. I'm like, oh, there's things happening. Plus, there's a guy on there that I've seen in a lot of places before. But before we start talking about the episode, The Switch, Season 2, Episode 2, I'd like to say that we are now on multiple listening devices or listening platforms, podcast platforms. You can hear us now on Spotify. We are also on, there's a bunch. I don't even remember how many we're on. Let me see. Let's see. You can listen to us. For some reason, we're not on iTunes yet. I applied and I got, but they said we're still not available. So I don't know. Also, Google Podcasts too. Those are the only two we're not on yet. But we're on Spotify. We're on Apple Music. We're on TuneIn Alexa. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on Player FM. We're on Listen Notes. We're on Samsung. We're on Podchaser. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, it's a good start. I mean, it's good to be spread out a little bit. I don't even know half of the ones you listed, but it's good that there's options out there. I mean, you'd be surprised. You told me there was people listening on right on a different platform I never heard of. So I mean, there's an audience for everything.
So we're also on where I post the videos up. I upload
on Amazon too, right? You said
we're on Amazon. That, right? But I'm also I make the videos because we are available on video format, but we're not on camera yet. So right now, it's if you want to go to YouTube, you can subscribe to us over there on search Ghost Crusaders TV. There's also other videos I do there, but the podcast is posted there. And that's video format. One day we will get cameras and do it like when people get to see our beautiful faces. But for some reason, they have to see our faces. I don't know why. I think we talked about that last episode, or we talked about it off camera. And we're like, I don't know why people want to see our faces. Like, why is that? There was the same thing with those other podcasts. I was subscribed to a podcast that does a TV review show from back in the day, and somehow they're still on for 5 years, even though there was only like 90-something episodes. I mean, how can you stay on for, like you just keep going back to those episodes again and again and again? I don't know. Well,
I can see the appeal. Some people like to see, I guess, who's talking sometimes, even not fully focus on the whole video, but I guess just to know, make it more personable. I could see that. But yeah, we'll get on there one day. I already got a 1080p webcam, so I'm all set to do it whenever you guys really want it. Maybe it'll be on our unofficial Patreon.
You know what?
Just JK.
The thing is, I need money to get the layouts and stuff. Like, anyway, I'll talk about that with you after. Because I don't want to have the same layout as I do for my reviews of my, I do what was the live action reviews to movies I haven't seen before. So that's on YouTube, and there's a layout there if you look at those videos.
Oh yeah. It's also my we're gaming. We're gonna require layout. A special Creeps of the Crypt layout.
Yeah, I want to get one made that's specifically for Creeps of the Crypt, which will cost some money.
Yeah.
Also, we're on this thing called Listen Notes. I've never heard of it before, but yeah, we're on there too. So just check us out. Go to Creeps of the Crypt. We are on YouTube. You could go to Ghost Crusaders TV. I have other videos there. You'll find us. So yeah, Creeps of the Crypt is all over the place.
We're legit. As I sent you a voice message when I saw us on Spotify. We legit.
Yeah.
We legit.
Well, we're working on it. Just one day at a time. All right, so let's talk about this episode. This is season 2, episode 2. The episode is entitled The Switch. And like all flustered. And it aired April 21st, 1990. This, actually, if we were doing it the way we did the first season, we should have recorded this the same time we recorded Dead Right and put it as one episode because this and Dead Right aired the same night.
That's good to know. Yeah, it was a double feature episode for the premiere,
They might.
and I think a solid two first episodes.
This one's called The Switch, and it's is directed by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes, I see. One of his. This is like a recurring theme throughout the show. You're going to see a lot of guest actors on the show and guest directors. So this is one of them. With our boy Arnold, I directed The Switch.
I want to direct a movie. You do a good Arnold, but I don't know if you're gonna be able to do it now.
Sometimes I do a good one and then it just strays into something else.
Yeah, you do a good.
Certain words. I've seen a lot of Arnold movies in my time, so I don't know. Is Arnold directed anything else before this or during this time? Because I know that he's done a few of those type of directing deals, but I think this is like his only one, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
I don't know if he's directed anything else. But this is like a pretty straightforward episode to direct, so I can't imagine it being that much of a burden on him to do. But yeah, this is kind of one of these episodes that are pretty straightforward, and I kind of don't mind it. I like this one. But yeah, it stars like a wealthy older guy named Webster or Carlton Webster, and apparently, yeah, I mean we get into this. He has a girlfriend that won't marry him because he's old, and she's played by Kelly Preston. I think her name is Linda.
Mm-hmm. Linda.
And rest in peace. I think she passed away 2 years ago. She
Really?
was, John Travolta's wife. Yeah.
Really? Oh, that's sad. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had forgotten that it happened, but I remember. Yeah,
Well, she was married to him for like. She wasn't married to him now, right? Or she was. She was married to him.
Yeah, she was, and yeah, she's in this episode. The funny thing is that like I noticed the trend with some of these like guest starring episodes of Tales from the Crypt or anything related to the actors. Like yeah, because she was in Twins with Arnold too in that movie, and then the doctor we'll see later on. He was in Total Recall too, so a lot of connections there between.
I fucked Kelly Preston many times because everyone knows John. He likes the girly things. So I go and I take Kelly when Maria Shriver's not looking, and I did it to her before I did it to the maid.
But yeah, like this one's pretty straightforward one. But yeah, this older guy, wants to be married to this younger girl played by Kelly Preston. So he it's like Arnold described in the intro with Crypt Keeper. Crypt Keeper was working out and struggling to lift a dumbbell.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, tonight's story is of an old man who finds a new wrinkle in the fountain of youth.
I think
Twisted tale that we call the Switch.
I think
So
this.
that's the intro there.
I think this was a way of, or not, maybe just to let us know. Oh, we're not always gonna be just horror now, like or something like. Letting the audience know. It's like you're breaking the fourth wall. You have Arnold Schwarzenegger coming out where the Crypt Keeper is, and he's addressing the audience and telling you what, like, at first we get the Crypt Keeper telling us, we think we're in a different, like, now we're not, now it's just like no holds barred, anything goes. Like, oh, the Crypt Keeper is now pop culture icon. That's it. He could have a talk show. You know what I mean? Like, anything can happen in his little Crypt Keeper lair. Doesn't have to be relegated only to the talking about the episode. It could be some guest can come from the fucking episode itself.
Yeah, that's when that's when I noticed they started having a little bit more fun, especially season 2. I mean, it's the same thing you'd mentioned. The whole season in season 2 is a wide variety of different stories. So it's not just kind of in that horror themed aspect. Although at first, some of the episodes in season 1 weren't all really horror based either, but I guess it kind of gives you the idea that yeah, this is kind of like that season. That's anything can happen, and yeah, we'll talk about it later on. But yeah, there's quite many things that happen, and whether it's just different stories that get told, or even the intros, who the Crypt Keeper interacts with, what he does, how he's dressed, that it incorporates that theme into the episode, many things. So they get a little bit creative, which is cool. He hasn't fully like gotten I guess that that insane yet or that outlandish with like how because like that's the same thing that happened with Freddy, right? He became more of a comedic guy or more of a I don't know, like you associate him with like throwing some kind of random jokes in the middle of him killing you and having fun with you, right? So some people might like that campiness about it. It hasn't reached that level yet for Crypt Keeper.
No, he has not reached that part yet. So Freddy was more of a pop culture icon, and he did not deserve to be. I think it. When I look back,
well,
on
yeah,
it
you
now,
have a little bit of you have a little bit more context, seeing how that stardom of fandom took over and he became that icon, especially with you delving into that extreme side of Freddy's Nightmares TV show. Because I didn't even know until recently, that he had a show in that time, or where the hell it even aired. So it was wild to hear about it and watch your coverage on some of those episodes.
Yeah, it's looking at it now from this perspective. I was a fan, and I was like, ugh. But anyway, the Crypt Keeper had a cartoon series, so maybe we could get to watch those too. Maybe we could
we'll see. I've never seen them.
I've never seen them either, so maybe we'll do those.
Almost everyone had a cartoon. Even like Beetlejuice had one.
MC Hammer had a cartoon. Legit.
They gave cartoons. They gave cartoons to anybody back then.
RoboCop had a cartoon. Rambo had a cartoon. I mean, these people don't deserve cartoons. Like, their movies are rated R. Like, the 80s were wild times to be a kid. Seriously, you're growing up, you're watching a guy getting radioactive waste poured on him. He's melting. The guy is melting, and then the car runs him over, and he explodes, and then you're going to make a fucking cartoon out of that. Besides that, fucking this guy's just a head. Like, he's a whole machine, and his face is the only thing they kept, and some memories. Besides that, they killed this guy, and he's killing people, shooting people in the balls.
That's the 80s, man. Those good times.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
I'll buy that for $1.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's get back to this episode. So this girl, Kelly Preston, she's a hot little piece of ass that's got Carlton Webster all hot and bothered. It's like the Anna Nicole Smith situation. That's what when I was watching this, I go, was this about the same time that Anna was like, I left him. He's my lover. And the guy looked like a skeleton. He looked like the Crypt Keeper. That's what he looked like. He looked worse than Carlton. He looked so bad. At least Carlton could get up and walk.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I now that you mention it, I can see those comparisons to that around that time.
Back then, oh my God, she was on the news. Everyone knew. Everyone knew. This is how depraved we are as a society or as just like humans in general. Like, we all knew. Oh, she married him for the fucking money. She got the money because of the baby, and they wanted to do a DNA test, and she said no. And it came out that it wasn't her baby. I mean, it wasn't his baby. It wasn't that guy, Howard K. Stern.
The other Howard Stern, yeah. I remember he used to have him on. Yeah, I remember he used to have him on Howard Stern all the time.
He's like, why did you have my name? Change your name. He goes, oh, I'm Howard K. Stern.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, they were great. There were some wild times back then. It seems like, I don't know how much her husband was worth, but it seemed like, she made more money off of the show? The media and all that after all that stuff went public and when she died.
Didn't make any sense. It didn't. I mean, he must have had a lot of money. I don't know how much. Like, when you think about it, because she was in Naked Gun, 33 1/3. She had to get a nice paycheck. She was in this movie when I was a kid, and I stood up late at night to watch. It was like softcore, right? It was called like Skyscrapers. And the poster was like her, and it cut off her giant breasts. It was like two towers right before her breasts showed, and it's like it's basically like Die Hard, but with her big boobs, and she's going around banging guys to get out.
Nice.
She's like, oh yeah, I gotta get out of here. Oh yeah. What did she say? Come out to the coast. We'll have some fun. But whatever.
All the shit they put on the E channel was wild back then.
Everything and anything at that time. Those were great times to be alive, to be a kid, especially to be a kid. But anyway, So this it's basically like Anna Nicole Smith, like, but he's in love, but he could walk, he could talk, and it's his decision. And he goes, but it's not because she doesn't know he has money because he won't tell her he has money. Like that's what messes this whole thing up. He pulled a me. That's what I do. Like I don't have money, but if I did have money, when I did have money, I wouldn't tell people I have money. And then they come, they see my car, and they go, "Why didn't you tell me you had money?" And I go, "Oh, I didn't. This is when I had money." Now they go, "Where's your car?" I say, "This is a bus pass. We're gonna take the bus to go out to eat." Okay, but yeah, I would do what he does, not tell the girl. Not tell her. Why does she need to know anything about me? She'll find out. She'll find out. Some guys, they do the opposite. They show them they got money right away so they could get the girl. Isn't that Tony Montana? First, you got to get the money.
Yeah, when you get the money, you get the power. Is power last or the women last? Oh, I forget how it goes.
The money's first. You got to get the power. First you got to get the money. Then you got to get the power. And after you get the power, then you get the woman.
So, like, Anna Nicole's husband was only worth like 20 million at the time. Well, I mean, it was. We'll talk about the financial part in the episode. But yeah, I mean, that was pretty a lot back then.
I guess, but this guy's a bum. He's like poor. He's rich, but he's poor rich. He's not really rich. I mean, when we get into it, he's not. He don't have anything. So anyway, he doesn't tell her he has any money at all. He loves her. She's like, oh, this old creepy dude. Or she's like, who knows? I don't know what the situation is.
There's not a lot of context given, but the idea is that, yeah, he's in love with this young girl that he's dating.
No, he's not dating her, I don't think. I think
it seemed like they were, because like, why else were they hanging out?
I don't know. Maybe she was his massage therapist. Or
a lot of it is just led up to speculation or assumption. It's not necessarily the most important because we'll see the themes here with that. Almost all of the good episodes of Tales from the Crypt sometimes have some holes in them that weren't necessarily meant to be filled, I guess, and also the time that's allowed on the episode, so like 30 minutes. So we can only assume. But I don't know. IMDb says that it was a girlfriend, but I'm not sure. They never clarified, but let's just assume and say that.
And she's
like, they've known each other for a while, or they must have been dating. Because if they weren't dating, why would he go out of his way to buy so much? He was like the episode, you see a whole bunch of vases full of flowers at her place.
Yeah, he just gives her flowers. He's a fucking
it's Casanova over here.
I just want to tell you how I love you. I could never love someone like you. You're old. Well, what are we doing together? I'm spending your money. Can't you tell? Whatever money I think you have, I'm spending your Social Security or something. Like, it doesn't make. The butler doesn't go in and tell her ever that he has money, and she's just like, "Oh, dude, please leave me alone. You're like whiter than white. You haven't been in the sun in like 100 years. Like, go away." I want someone young. She says, I want someone young. So he's like, well, because of his face, because he's so old, she couldn't look at him. So he's like, I'm going to go get plastic surgery. So he goes and, because I want her to love me. Well, that's not love, bro. I want Linda. So
he said it all creepy. She's young.
That's how he talks. I've seen him in so many things. He was in...
I had to look it up, but this guy voiced that doctor in Nightmare Before Christmas.
He was in Christmas Vacation. He was Uncle
Dr.
Lewis.
Finkelstein.
Uncle Lewis. He's the one that his fake hair gets set on fire.
Oh yeah.
It's funny. He's the one that his hair gets set on fire from, and then it gets thrown into the fucking tree. The whole tree. It's all fucked up. Anyway, he's in a lot of things actually, but
yeah,
I remember.
Yeah,
him
so he's kind of he's been in a couple things.
You know what he was in a TV show that I remember vividly as being. I remember because I was a fan of Charles in Charge, and somebody said he's on this show called Baby Talk, right? So I went to watch the show Baby Talk, and I saw an episode with Scott Baio, and I was like, oh, it's basically Look Who's Talking. Tony Danza is the voice of the baby, right? It was Look Who's Talking, TV show, and then the next episode, because I thought it was, this was reruns. The next episode was George Clooney. not Scott Baio, right? I swear. And I was like, what? And I didn't know who George Clooney was at the time. Nobody did. I was like, who's this guy? I don't want to watch this. I want to watch it because of Scott Baio. You know, it was a fan. Charles in Charge in Happy Days when I was a kid. But yeah. But anyway, back to this episode. So he gets plastic surgery. Well, he goes to get plastic surgery.
And he's like, 10 years is not enough.
Yeah, some lady that was waiting in the waiting room with him was mentioning, oh, he's great. It could take 10, 20 years off of you, but this ain't enough. This guy is old as as old as the time itself, so he needs a little bit more extra.
Yeah.
So the guy, is going through the consultation with him, touching his face, saying what he could do. But yeah, like just based on everything else, this ain't gonna work. And yeah, he's pretty much mentions that there's a referral to someone that he knows that could do something more extreme than what he's looking for.
Yeah.
But that referral is gonna cost him some money. It doesn't come cheap.
No.
And then we already know on our end, because like he decided to keep this from the girl, and it's already a bad sign at this point. If you're gonna, not mention that, or yeah, if she's just only in it for that, we'll find that later.
No, because then after he gets the face done, he goes and he's wearing like the worst mask possible. I mean, this looks ridiculous. I don't know how Arnold didn't say this looks like shit. Like I don't understand how he didn't go. Who did this? You're fired. You are fired. Go get out of here. I don't want anything. Like go away. Look at this. This looks ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. I do not believe it. But then she starts saying shit to him, right? And I was like, oh, this is Arnold's nightmare. This is what Arnold did this episode because he's afraid. I don't want my body to go down on me. Right? Like,
this might be his own fears. This probably drew him to direct this episode. He looked like Max Headroom. That's how he looked like when he came back.
She says, "Your old and decrepit body," right? And then you hear the Undertaker's ding, the bell from the Undertaker theme song, straight up.
Oh yeah,
not lying. The bell was like, dong, and he's like looking like I'm like, this is Arnold Schwarzenegger's nightmare. This is exactly his nightmare. He's like, oh my god, I don't want it. My body, the body is your temple. You got to maintain your body. How do you think
I'm gonna have saggy skin?
How do you think I have sex with Kelly Preston? I fuck her. You know what? It's kind of weird that he has so many movies with Kelly Preston and nothing with John Travolta. If you're friends,
There must have been something.
Yeah, he was banging her.
Something that happened.
That kid. That kid's probably the kid that had that problem. That was Travolta's son. Was probably Arnold's son. I don't want to say that's so fucked up because I had to cut that out because that kid was like, I think he had Down syndrome or some shit. And Travolta's a Scientologist, and he's like, I'm not going to give her any medicine. Oh no, John Travolta, I ain't going to give any medicine. I ain't going to give my kid any medicine.
Don't give him the shot.
Well, Kelly Preston too. She was probably dying of cancer. He goes, my Scientology told me she gonna be all right.
If I donate more money to Tom Cruise, you'll be all right.
I gotta give more money to Tom, and everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah. So after that, he gets a referral from the plastic surgeons of someone that could do what he wants to the extreme, and it's just like something straight out of like kind of like a horror movie in a cheeky way. The way that they set up the scene with him and his butler driving to this like mansion at night when it's pouring rain, and then they got the doctor looking out the window all maniacally, and very much also kind of gives me the like Dr. Frankenstein vibes.
Yeah, this is
Hey, the butler was Fulton. I remember he was on Seinfeld as Elaine's boss.
Yes, the one that couldn't see the whatever everyone else was seeing in the painting, and he was so mad. Yeah, that's
yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, he goes in there, he knocks on the door. Some guy lets him in there. Look like we'll find out a bit. I guess this guy does some I don't know. He didn't make it clear, but he might build the servants in a way.
You think that he builds his servants? I didn't even pay attention to the guy that answered the door.
Yeah, that there's a guy that answered the door like kind of like Igor kind of type. He just like let him in and just like put his finger towards him like come here. Son.
Oh, okay. I did. I did not. I was not paying attention.
Yeah,
much.
so that's why I said that it gave me like Dr. Frankenstein vibes. So.
Yes, I remember that from when it actually aired. Like you just reminded me of something that in my mind went straight to when it actually aired when I was a kid. Like I saw it there, and I watched this today. I did not pay attention to that part. That's
Yeah,
funny.
it's very small and subtle and really quick. So like the guy's only on screen for like maybe 5 seconds, and then they get a nice little pan of the scenery inside the mansion. A lot of like like a lot of oddities and stuff. Like I think there's a statue in there, some heads in a tank and shit. And they go to talk about it, and he mentions how this is like a very expensive thing, and it's like gonna cost him $1 million initially for the face part.
The face part, yeah. But now he went back because he wants to go back because she goes, your body's decrepit. So when he goes back, he goes for the torso is $2 million. $2 million for the torso. Yeah. And then he goes, you're taking all my money. And they go, bro, if you don't have $100 million or $50 million, and this dude's only charging you a few million, because this takes place supposedly back in the day, but not this episode.
Early 90s.
I'm talking about this is actually adapted from the Tales from the Crypt comic. This is the first one that was adapted from the actual Tales from the other ones that we saw were adapted from other EC comics. This one was actually adapted from the Tales from the Crypt comic. So they went straight from whatever 50s year it was, probably 1 million, 2 million, was a lot of money in the 50s. If we're supposed to think this is what? I mean, there's a gang in the front. They look like it's like regular time. It doesn't look like it's a 50s gang, like John Travolta wasn't there with his greased lightning hairdo. No, it was some other, bikers, like actual 90s bikers.
Yeah. I didn't look into the comic, but I'm assuming they're just gonna wing a number that sounds like a lot
that's not
for
a
the
lot.
time.
Not even for the
like
90s.
A lot. Yeah, even for that, I would at least they could have. It's like that Austin Powers, running joke they had.
Yeah.
$5 million, and everybody's laughing because it's like nothing. But yeah, you get the gist. It's gonna cost a lot. I mean, it probably that kind of like extensive surgery like that would have been at least over $1 billion.
Oh, we
even
jumped
trillion.
I jumped, didn't I? Because we were talking about the face before we got the new.
Yeah,
face.
we jumped a little bit, but yeah,
anyway,
it's pretty much just out. He's outlining that he's done this before, but no one believes him. He's done this kind of surgery before, and he introduces
Hans.
Yeah, he introduces Hans to Carlton. So that's just the guy they're gonna base a lot of the his face on first. Is gonna do like a face transplant. Yeah. How is this possible? We don't know. We just kind of see the magic happen. Very much.
I mean, listen,
Frankenstein.
Listen, they were able
style.
to put John Travolta's face onto Nicolas Cage and Nicolas Cage's face onto John Travolta. So I believe this. Okay.
Face. Oh, I remember. Yeah. That's true.
That came out after this. So they were like, I saw this episode that I think Schwarzenegger did. Yeah.
Yeah, Hans looks like kind of like a fit.
He was in Terminator.
Slightly buff.
He was in the Terminator.
Guy from the 90s. He was like a Fred Savage kind of guy.
He was in the Terminator.
What part did he play in Terminator?
He's the one that has to take out his clothes, I think, and get naked.
I remember.
Give me your clothes.
Give me. Yeah, he kind of looks like Ben Savage. But yeah, they're gonna use him. Apparently, he mentioned a line. The doctor mentioned a line like he made Hans or something. He created him, like some sort of how we don't know, but he created him.
No.
Like he was able to breed people.
Oh. I don't think so.
And to take organs and stuff, because he mentioned about organ
harvesting, yeah, because he's saying that became like a big thing and like is now too.
You'd have to double check, but yeah, I remember him saying something to that extent, like you created Hans for this kind of purpose. Someone would be coming in the middle of the night to get a face transplant.
I don't know. I know this is the part I liked when he leaves the mansion, the doctor's mansion. And the butler's like, hello, sir. I was waiting outside like an asshole all day while it was raining and everything. I didn't go anywhere because I don't have any family because I've been taking care of you. I've been waiting for you. And then he comes out and she goes, oh, my God. And that's exactly how everyone reacted to his face when he lowered the flowers and he introduced himself to her. We were looking at like, oh my God, what? That's what Arnold was like saying. He's going, oh my God, this is so ridiculous. It's like,
He looks like Max Headroom.
this is never going to work. What are we doing here? Why we come to work?
Yeah. He
Why
probably
did we
said
even
that. It's
come
like,
here?
Well, Arnold, we got a budget here. We can't.
This is
can't invest
ridiculous.
this much on this.
I want the
we don't have
guy's
the technology.
I want the guy's real face on his body. Robert Zemeckis. I saw you Back to the Future, and you can do it.
You can do it.
You can do anything.
Arnold, we don't have that budget.
No, you have the money. We have five producers. We got Joe Silver. We got Robert Zemeckis. I can't do Robert. I sound like an idiot.
Robert.
There you go, Robert. I can't do that.
Well, all the money went to my pocket, so we couldn't afford it.
What the?
That was funny. That was funny that the way they did it, because like they were doing something else later on. I was like, oh, that's weird that they didn't try to at least probably budget. Maybe I don't know if the CGI. I don't know how much that cost to do it at the time, but I thought they were just gonna put his face on the old guy's body, but it just like it looked like he was in some young weird makeup.
This is weird.
It just looked weird.
We could do it now if somebody wanted to. They could go in and do it and put his face like the actor's face on him, and then she'd be like,
Yeah.
"Ew, you look disgusting." I think this whole thing was planned from the beginning.
You know, I was getting that vibe too
Yeah.
near the end. We'll get into it, but I felt like a lot of this was premeditated. Like they were, it almost looks like as if they were expecting him to go out of his way to do this and all that. But they drive off. They drive off after the butler's just shook about this plastic surgery he got, and you see the camera behind Hans. It's got the Carlton's face as they drive away. So
buff
that's
body.
it's kind of. Yeah, his buff body on the old man face.
Yeah.
But yeah, also he's getting the money from this work. Hans is apparently.
Yeah, he's getting the procedure is $1 million.
$1 million? That's
So he has to
all my
sacrifice
money.
his face.
And then he goes, well, the surgery only cost $100,000.
Well, that's the other 900,000 for.
And he's saying, well, for the face, you think faces just grow on trees? That's what he tells him.
Hans the sacrifice.
And Hans is an idiot. So Hans gets 900,000 for every whatever. He gets less than, if it's $1 million, he gets 900,000. If it's $2 million, he gets what, 1.8? Because it's 200,000, yeah.
Just every time it comes back, it goes up. So he comes back to Linda to see how the show off the plastic surgery, and she's just like us. We're like, what the hell?
I said that.
This is what is this?
She's
And
like, oh,
it's like I can't be with these. I still have, even with the young face, he got the old body.
Decrepit. And that's when they do the Undertaker bell. So, ding.
Yeah, we just got out of track there, and we're back on it. So they go back to see the doctor again, and as you mentioned, that the new cost of the torso is $2 million. And yet again, he's shook. $2 million. You got to take a man's body, you must pay dearly. So he's got the now we go back to hot. Now we see that was weird. That's why I was saying it was weird, because they had the young makeup on the old guy, I think, and then now he's got the torso, and now it's just Hans, his normal face on his body. And it's just I don't know how they do it. Like they managed to do it within the span of like I don't know how many hours. The first time the butler was outside waiting, is like that was pretty quick. He got that shit done pretty quick.
The guy Hans was also in ER. I think he was that girl I said I didn't think was hot in Sopranos, Juliana Margolis. So he's Juliana Margolis' boyfriend and fiance in the first season. I only seen 5 episodes of season 1 of ER, so I know that they were dating.
Yeah, he's
George.
I guess this guy's been in a couple things.
Yeah, he's been in about a lot of things actually. So
after he's get the new torso, he goes to go see Kelly Preston again. They're at the Venice Beach.
They're walking down on the beach, and she's walking with him, and they're talking. She's having a good time because he has sweatpants on. So they say, "Let's go take a dip," and she comes out looking like one of the girls from Baywatch in the red lifeguard outfit.
Right out of Baywatch, yeah.
He comes out with his decrepit feet. And he's like,
Come on, Lisa. What the hell? When are you going to be satisfied?
And she's like, I know what I want. It's not a disgusting old man. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just the scrawny legs and then the veins in his legs. So he's still got the old man legs. He's just got the torso and the face done. So he's just got to... Yeah, that's the last thing he's got left right now. He's got to go back to the doctor and get those legs.
I will
those
say,
new young legs.
The best thing about this guy acting in this is that he's a good... you're like, I don't know, lip syncer, like, or whatever. Like, he's, I don't know if the guy did the voice after or what the hell, how they did it, A&R or whatever. Because they probably did an A&R, I guess. But it's pretty good, I guess. I don't know. It looks really good. Like, him moving his mouth and talking sound, it looks like that's the old man talking.
Yeah, there's good ADR there. I guess maybe they just had to have him slowly pronounce his words, I guess, to make it work. Because he's kind of, I mean, at least the way he was talking in the old episode, he's very, a little bit slower pace. So he goes back to the doctor's cutting up some salami, and he's gonna say that's gonna be what's it, another $2 million there, or no, $3 million, right?
Yeah,
it goes up 1, 2, 3. So he's already spent. I noticed this here. He's been like $6 million, so $6 million man. Hey,
he has to.
I think that's might be a callback.
Maybe that's why, but it's because his willy.
Yeah, so he says that in order to satisfy her, another limb would need to be replaced. So
and then when he's looking,
he looks down on his junk.
Yeah, later in the mirror, he goes,
Lisa's gonna love us.
maybe he's looking as a full-on erection, and the doctor's there like, oh, this is kind of awkward. And he's like looking, because he's looking at himself, and he's like, "Oh my God, how is this?"
The doctor
possible?
is very kind and considerate to think about that, because he would have had to come back again. Because like if they were getting, getting frisky in bed, and he couldn't, she had to take his pants off.
What's the matter with this shriveled old thing?
So gonna see a wrinkled up prune. So yeah, it's good on him for
Carlton,
keeping that in mind.
Why does it look like my great grandfather's? It's all disgusting.
Oh, just give it a little tug.
This is so gross. It's this idea.
And
when you think about it, right? How she ends up. Well, the twist is coming, but like, I just keep thinking like the Crypt Keeper and this guy. There was a picture released, I think, yesterday. By the time of this recording, of Clint Eastwood, 95 years old, directing a movie, and he was walking around in the background. 95, and I was thinking, oh my
Jesus.
God, Al Pacino's new girlfriend that's giving birth to his latest son was dating 95-year-old Clint Eastwood. And what do you think they were doing? They were having it was a young 20, 30-year-old woman do that with a 90-year-old man.
She was just doing all the work probably. I can't imagine.
I can't imagine even doing that. I'd be like, ugh. Hey, well, she's doing God's work, I guess, or the work. Well, she's getting around Hollywood, that's for sure. She's making the circles around the old age home in Hollywood. All the old age homes.
We've talked about it. Yeah, she's dated Mick Jagger.
Mm-hmm.
And
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood,
Al
as you
Pacino.
mentioned, and now Al Pacino. Some other old rich dudes too. So. Yeah, she's got a type.
They have to be old and famous. My dad had to watch their movies because I don't know him. So
she's not. Yeah, she's not bad looking though. But it's just the fact that she's been with a lot of older men.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
My grandpa's favorite actor was Clint Eastwood in the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
It reduces my enthusiasm. So.
Jeez. She probably dated Charles Bronson before he died.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
She's like, I love you.
Larry King, maybe.
My dad. Yeah, Larry King's another one. The women are fucking gross, man. There's some gross women out there. I can't believe it. I'm talking about young women. Like, you really going out there and doing this. You know you're only doing it for money. It's just like this girl right now in this episode. What does she do at the end? At the end of everything, he makes him spend all his money to make himself young again. And she's like, I want a guy with money, you stupid. So all he had to do from the beginning was tell her, I'm rich. Would you give me a blowjob? And she would have been like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, like, that would have been the realization that, like, yeah, I mean, if he's into that, then go for it. But he played himself, hiding his wealth.
Wealth and then giving
So
it away.
so
So it's funny.
yeah, but I mean, prior to that, like unveiling, yeah, he goes to see her at her apartment, but she had moved out. There was people, like the landlord was there, and people were moving stuff out and renovating the place for a new tenant. And oddly enough, like we mentioned earlier, these guys, it's just these punks show up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And the oldest punks ever is like, "Can we get a ride?" And then he beats the shit out of them.
John Travolta was supposed to be one of them, and then he was like, "I can't do it. I'm too busy learning how to fly." And then
You give me a ride.
I'm a pilot. You know that, Arnold? I'm a pilot. I'm learning. I got to do my time. And then he was like, "It's okay. I'll take care of Kelly. Don't worry about it."
And crazy and throw. I don't know. Like there's no. Yeah, it's just too much thinking about it. But yeah, there's like not a lot of time in between when he gets his legs done, and then already she's moved out and she's already living in this like this expensive like penthouse she's at, and then yeah, she's there, and then he finds out she already got married, and then you see Hans in his old body.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird because like this is the thing that we mentioned earlier. Is it was weird the way I get what they were trying to do, but it came off weird because I wasn't sure if they were already in on it, because she already knew what he looked like before, but he referred to him as Hans.
Well, you know what happened? I think the butler was like, "I lost my job because this guy can't afford me anymore. What am I going to look for?" And he applied for a job.
Right, there was that too.
And it was Hans, and Hans was like, "Yeah, I'm looking for like a guy to buttle me around and like do my stuff and like get me my like diapers and stuff because I'm an old man now." And he was like, "I could do it for you, sir, no problem." And then told him about the girl, and that's how that happened.
Right. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird because like because she knew who he was prior to him getting all this work done.
No,
so
she didn't know. Yeah, she knew who he was, Carlton. Yes. So it's just
yeah,
like,
she know what he
all
looked
of a
like and
sudden,
everything. Like it's exactly the same person. Just,
"Oh my God, who are you?" I'm Hans. You look like my friend Carlton, who looks like. Did you used to look like Carlton does now?
I'm the
And then
twin
she's probably
brother.
like, "Yes, I do. I'm the guy. He's giving me all this money. The guy was rich. I'm rich now." Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
fuck
So
him.
Twist to no one's surprise, she wanted a man with money, and he spent his money, the $6 million,
The real
on
twist.
changing his appearance.
The real twist would have been if the doctor never told him about the extra limb, $1 million, and then Hans kept his old limb. That would have been the real twist.
Yeah, that would have been the real twist when the action was going to happen, and little did he know, his old wrinkly balls are still there. So yeah, we saw the old butler come back, and then and Hans laughing in his old body. The camera zooms in his mouth, and that's the end of the episode. What did you think of it? What did you think of it rewatching it again?
It's fun. It's fun. It's fun to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not to be taken seriously. It's not as perfect to me as the last episode. But it's It's a fun episode.
That I can agree with. There's some nitpicks and plot holes, I guess you could always point out in these episodes, but overall I wasn't bored. Like the last one we watched, not the with Demi Moore, the season finale of season 1. It was a struggle to get through.
Bad. This one was not like that.
This one, everything was interesting. You were invested. You wanted to see how everything played out. While some of it might have been slightly predictable,
it's fun.
Played out the way it was intended, and that was the moral of the story. I guess don't change yourself.
Yeah, that's it. Don't change yourself
for love, and
be honest.
Yeah, screw these hoes that are in it for the money.
Hey, Chris Brown said it. These hoes ain't loyal. Okay.
Exactly. So I'd say let's go with our ratings here. For me, I'm gonna give this a solid 4 out of 5. It's a fun episode.
Yeah, I actually the same 4 out of 5. I think
if there were some things that I guess could have been a little bit cleaner with regards to like how that we were just talking about it now. The way that the last minute ended, I think was a little rough for me. But I see what the point of the episode was. So, well, I'm not gonna bang on it too hard on this one. But yeah, 4 out of 5. I think it's very, very appropriate for this episode. Great job, Arnold.
I don't know. This is the first time he directed anything, and I know there was probably a bunch of assistant directors there helping him along the way. He probably says it's easy. Well, it's easy, not that. Whatever. He probably said that too. This is so easy. I could do it all the time. I could do like every movie I'm ever in. You know, I don't know. I just feel like I could hear him saying that. You know,
surprised I never directed myself.
It's like when he told Bill Hader when Bill Hader was a PA on a movie that he says, "Where's whatever his makeup artist?" And he says, "I don't know."
I remember that.
Yeah, and he goes, "I'm gonna go look for them." He goes, "Do it. Show me your leadership capabilities." And I was just like, I can see him sitting behind, because he smoked a cigar all the time, sitting behind the director's chair and going, "All right, everybody, I want you to do the best job you possibly can do." You know, like talking shit. Let's do it. Okay, action. You know, like. But he definitely was banging Kelly Preston. If they were in I always feel that way. When actors are in a bunch of things together, I feel like they are having a relationship together. Like Will Smith and Margot Robbie. They were in a bunch of stuff together. Like Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper. They were in a bunch of stuff together.
There seems to be those vibes, especially with some clips that came out with them, you know, messing around with the cast and crew of Suicide Squad. Like they were laughing. Like they pulled up some deep fake nude photos of Margot Robbie for some random ass reason. That was a weird ass clip, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Hollywood is known to foster a lot of these eccentric people, so to say. There's a lot of different scenarios and relationships that these people are in.
There's pictures of Will Smith and Margot Robbie at like a club, like with her bras off, and just weird pictures and stuff. It's just, I just imagine.
Can't confirm or deny, but
I'm not allegedly. I'm speculating. I just imagine. I said I imagine. I imagine that that's what they do. You know.
Yeah, I don't think you'd be wrong on that notion, hypothetically. So yes, this is a pretty straightforward episode. Nothing too crazy on this one, but still enjoyable. I think it's one of my favorites from season 2. You know, foregoing the last one we watched before, that one's up there. So yeah, I look forward to talk about the next episode we got lined up for season 2, which is the cutting cards episode.
I like this one.
Lance Henriksen in that one.
I like this one.
That one's I might end up turning around to. I wasn't too crazy about it the first time I saw it when I was going through my marathon journey. But yeah, I think I might warm up to it again when I watch it. So we'll get into some details on that one. Yeah. Oddly enough, the doctor from the last episode is in this one too as a bartender.
Yes.
Very interesting parallels there that he was in this one. But yeah, you'll see that often a lot. There's a lot of actors that show up on here that come back for multiple roles, just like Larry Drake.
I believe the bartender.
2 great episodes.
I think the bartender of episode 1 was the same bartender in Dead Right, or the guy, Big Al or whatever. Anyway. I could be wrong about that. Don't take my word for it. I didn't look into it.
He said different things, but I remember him recently. He was he's on Bosch,
Larry Drake's
TV show.
Larry Drake's in a bunch of stuff too. Yeah, in 2 episodes. So's Adams, Will Sadler. I think he's in the first episode, and he's in Demon Knight, the movie. And Bordello of Blood. He's the mummy. So yeah, he's in a bunch of stuff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that was episode 2 of Tales from the Crypt, The Switch. Good episode. We both enjoyed it. Anyway, we will talk to you guys next time when we review Cutting Cards. That'll be a fun one. Do you want to promote anything? You could plug anything?
No, not at the moment. I mean, I have a Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv /Splinter47. I think there's underscore after that. I forget because someone took my username on Twitch. I'll occasionally do some streams on there, so if you guys want to hop on there and follow, we can leave a link in the description if we get the chance. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Nothing crazy here on my end.
Yeah. Well, I want to promote some things right now. I'm going to promote. You want to follow me on Twitter? That it's at Ghost Crusaders TV at Twitter. You can follow the show. We'll post episodes of the show on there, where to watch it, where to listen to it. And head on over to ghostcrusadersmerch.com if you want to get some cool, interesting shirts and help fund this little show that we do right now. We don't have sponsors or anything like that. Go to ghostcrusadersmerch.com. Let us know if you like this episode in the comment section down below. Hit that like button wherever you're listening to this or watching this. And we will talk to you guys next time.
Peace.